Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to Chittabeer E and Sam F. Thank you for using my Tesla referral link and congratulations on your new Tesla. And a shout out to Ron H. Thank you for choosing to support the channel over on Patreon. Stifel Financial's transport analyst came out today saying that Tesla's current stock valuation is discounted. The main reason is nothing new. He just said it's thanks to the potential of FSD. He also highlighted the Model 2, or really whatever Tesla chooses to call this more affordable vehicle that should be coming in the next few months. Their new price target is $492, up from $411 before. I figured this would be a good time to remind everybody of TeslaPriceTargets.com. I'll have the link below. This site is run by Stephen Bink, a member of the Electrified community. You can filter the analyst type, so currently I only have institutional investors ticked. I wanted to highlight that this new price target from Stifel makes it the 7th highest currently on Wall Street. However, you can see that most of these Tesla stock price targets are listed in red, meaning the price target is below the current share price. And yes, that is largely irrelevant, mostly for comedic purposes. On Tesla's Q2 call this year, Elon said that Giga Mexico was on pause. He was waiting for the election results because of the tariffs that Trump has planned for Mexico. Given the election results, today Mexico announced plans for a locally designed, affordable, small EV. The cars will be manufactured through a public-private partnership and would cost between $4,400 and $7,400. It'll be the first Mexican manufacturer of mini vehicles developed by Mexican engineering. The cars will offer Mexicans an alternative to foreign EV brands, which he called expensive and out of reach of Mexican families. They're still looking for an assembly site, but they hope to roll out the first model by June 2026. This Mexican vehicle is clearly not in the same price bracket as a Tesla would be, but the sooner we get info on tariffs on Mexico, the sooner we can figure out what's going on with Giga Mexico. I still think it's too early to say that Giga Mexico is dead, but I do believe things are trending in that direction, and Tesla has plans now to make the Cybercab at Giga Texas. Tesla can ramp production of the Cybercab at Giga Texas throughout 2026 and 2027, get all of those new learnings, and then export those to the next factory globally, wherever that may be. This spy shot of the new Model Y was shared, and it looks like the turn signal could be embedded into the front light bar, if indeed the vehicle does have a light bar all the way across the front. And this vehicle is likely to have the Matrix headlights, which would make it less likely that Tesla includes fog lights on the upcoming Project Juniper. And yes, that's exactly what Tesla did with the new Model 3. They removed the fog lights. Alset on X visited the Tesla diner in Hollywood and shared some new images and video. As it turns out, the Shanghai Megapack factory has gone up faster than this diner in Hollywood, but based on what I read, permitting in Hollywood is quite the challenge. As you can see, there's still a decent amount of work when it comes to that back lot, as they're still installing plenty of superchargers. I was hoping for a Q1 opening, but it's trending like maybe this will be into Q2. Just real quick, all Tesla vehicles have a built-in service mode that anybody can use, but they also have a service mode plus that does come with a subscription fee. To use it, you would download Toolbox 3 onto any laptop and connect it to your Tesla. And now, in that service mode plus, Tesla has interactive wiring for the Cybertruck. In short, this allows anybody to figure out exactly what might be wrong with a particular system, as well as how to possibly correct it. I know most people don't go this far into the weeds, but it's a good reminder that Tesla is continually making the experience better for the DIY groups. Barron's put out a new article reviewing Tesla's latest FSD, and even they can't deny the progress. In their first review, just over 1 year ago, they were saying it was driving like a mash of a teenager with a learner's permit and an octogenarian. It was slow and steady, but unsure about all the situations encountered in daily driving. Fast forward to today, and in short, for version 13.2, they said it's really good. The number of times I have to take over on the road is down substantially, and the driving is significantly better. FSD is starting to feel like a solid human driver. Ideally, though, these journalists would not have lines like the enhancements include reduced photon to control latency, whatever that means. And look, in fairness, there are still some release notes that I don't understand, but this right here is one of the easier ones. It's basically just better reaction time. The latency, or the time delay, between when the car sees the video footage and actually is able to output a control based on that footage has been reduced, aka better reaction time. Heinrich Zane got some nice footage of the Tesla Semi, and it was a first. We have 2 Tesla Semis pulling tandem trailers. He did add that in Nevada, triples are actually legal, so we may see that tested in the future as well. Obviously, the tandem setup would allow a company to transport more goods at once, but not only that, you can also carry different cargo types or sizes in each trailer if they need to be separate. Dan Priestley, the head of the Semi program, chimed in saying, "Double the pleasure, double the fun." Mr. Fundman shared this video of FSD in heavy rain, low visibility, and he said the car was literally hydroplaning paired with bad road markings in the area. Ashok did actually end up reposting this, so it got a lot of traction, but in this scenario, I'll be honest, I'm probably not using FSD. But I am genuinely curious, if the conditions are like this, are you trusting FSD to navigate? I really have not seen more than a few critical disengagements so far with version 13, which is why I think this video from Dirty Tesla is important.
Here's the question. Oh, it doesn't do the question mark. It's got plenty of room. Oh my goodness. Oh, no. Oh my gosh. It was just gonna drive right in front of that person. Holy crap.
A friendly reminder, do not get complacent. So far, overall, the feedback on 12.6 for Hardware 3 has been very good, but there are still some challenges. There are many reports of the end-to-end net on the highway being leaps and bounds better than it was before, and really that's no surprise. For some cons, Black Tesla said still has some DNA of 12.5, like phantom braking and twitching turns. Based on everything I've read, I think this is a good summary. He said, think of it like version 13 Lite and temper expectations except for highway, which is worlds better than 12.5. But as you may expect, other users are saying things like, I've not had any phantom braking and the only twitching I've experienced is in parking lots or turning into them. Just FYI, as far as I can tell, most Model 3 and Y vehicles with Hardware 3 still have yet to receive version 12.6. It sounds like most people will be very pleased with the update, but there is still some work to do at the end of drives, which of course is nothing dot releases can't continue to refine. Understandably, many people were excited when James Dauma shared a picture of his Cybertruck UI showing 323 kilowatt charging speeds for his Cybertruck. I would note this was at a V4 location, but they still had version 3 cabinets, so this number will be even better as we head into 2025 and Tesla starts deploying true V4 cabinets. When that happens, 500 kilowatts is on the table. It'll likely be very short-lived, but even for a moment, it'll be nice to see. And of course, most importantly, hopefully the charging curve is much improved. The Financial Times is saying EVs are expected to outsell ICE vehicles in China for the first time in 2025. China is set to smash international forecasts and Beijing's official targets for domestic EV sales, including both pure EV and hybrid. Both of those categories are expected to total 12 million vehicles in 2025, and sales of traditionally powered cars are expected to fall by more than 10% this year to less than 11 million. And yes, this article was written at the end of December 2024, hence the wording. A director at Wood Mackenzie said China, want to electrify everything. No other country comes close to China. But listen to this. The forecast suggests Beijing's official target set in 2020 for EVs to account for 50% of car sales by 2035 will be achieved 10 years ahead of schedule. And part of the reason GM and VW are seeing massive write-downs on their Chinese business, as China's EV growth tracks for 40% growth in 2024, the market share of foreign branded cars fell to a record low of 37%. That number was down from 64% in 2020. Clearly a major milestone for China, and hopefully one that the United States can begin talking about sometime later this decade. In another inventory clearing sign for Tesla, they'll now introduce 0% interest rates on inventory Model Ys in Germany that started on January 1st. The VP of Finance at Tesla, Sendil Polani, said on X, "Today marks 16 years since my first day at Tesla, and this year yet again seems like it'll be our most exciting yet. Every now and then I love to step back and look at everything Tesla has accomplished when you look from a long-term perspective. In January 2009, Tesla had around 300 people, made one vehicle per day, and had enough cash to last about 4 weeks. Sendil said, "In 2025, we continue to pursue our mission with the same collaboration and urgency as always, and with a product roadmap that covers more areas than was ever possible in the early days." And if you stop and take a second and really think about what Tesla could look like another 10 to 15 years from now, I'll just say it's a pretty incredible future.
What do you think are some of the best cars to own for the average person out there?
Honestly, I think that your Model Y is a really, really excellent all-around car.
Just don't pay the amount I paid for it.
If Jack buys it, just do the opposite.
Yeah,
Good Jack.
sell it to me.
Those Model Ys are excellent all-around cars, which is proven by the fact that they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They fit everybody. Like, you got a family, Model Y. You're just you, Model Y. You got a dog, you're a couple. Like, it does a lot of stuff.
If you're new to the story, Doug DeMuro has not always been the biggest fan of Tesla, so to hear that coming from him definitely carries some weight. One of the biggest problems for Tesla in Sweden now has to do with the charging situation. It's being reported that there are hundreds of Teslas stuck in charging queues, and it's happening despite the presence of 35 brand new supercharging stations. Why? Because these sites are offline thanks to the sympathy strikes. Max from the supercharger team at Tesla said Swedish EV drivers are suffering and EV infrastructure is not keeping up unless superchargers get energized by the utilities, blocking them from getting energized. 100 plus stalls in Sweden would have been energized this winter if it wasn't for sympathy strikes. Despite no clear path yet to getting turned on, we will also continue to invest and build sites for Swedish EV drivers. All of this drama started back in October of 2023, and now in this latest chapter, the new sites can't be opened for business because unions at utility companies are blocking connection to the power grid. And this actually started in April, but has been getting worse since, especially around the holidays. Even worse because these sites are supposed to be open to non-Tesla vehicles as well. If there's a silver lining, the Swedish Energy Markets Inspectorate is now investigating the supercharger connection block. The investigation is expected to be completed by spring 2025. The Department of Energy shared this chart of the median and maximum range of EVs offered for sale in the US by model year. Since 2021, the median range of EVs has gone from 239 up to 283 miles. Thus, over the past 4 years, the median number has gone up between 12 and 19 miles per year. But when it comes to the maximum range, we seem to be at a peak. 2022 was the high at 520, and that came down to 516 for the past 2 years. Waymo released its quarterly safety data report, and now the company has logged over 20 million miles in Phoenix, 10.2 million in San Francisco, 1.9 million in LA, and over 124,000 in Austin. All of that mileage is in rider-only mode. Waymo said its vehicle showed an 81% reduction in airbag deployment crashes, a 78% reduction in injury-causing crashes, and a 62% reduction in police-reported crashes. This data compares Waymo's performance to that of an average human driver over an equivalent 33 million miles in Phoenix and San Francisco. The takeaway? They said the Waymo driver is better than humans at avoiding crashes that result in injuries, airbag deployments, and police reports. Some online accounts were saying that over the past few days there was some breaking news that Switzerland was now going to allow full autonomy on its roads by March 2025. However, this news actually came out nearly 1 month ago. Either way, if you missed it, these new rules will go into force on March 1st, 2025. From that date, automated parking of a car will also be allowed without a driver in the vehicle, but only in designated parking spaces and parking garages. It'll also be possible to use driverless vehicles on specific authorized routes. However, they must be monitored by an operator from a control center. So yes, there are some caveats to this news that you don't see in the headlines only. We talked about Tesla now making some parts from its electronic parts catalog available direct to consumers, so you and I can go online and buy some of these parts. This week, some in the media are now picking this up, but I wanted to add, for now, shipping is only available to addresses in the United States, but it should roll out to other countries in the future. Lucid released its Q4 results. They produced 3,386 and delivered 3,099. Looking at the past 3 years, deliveries have seen a steady uptick. 2022, they came in at over 4,300. 2023, they were 6,000, and 2024, just over 10,200. On the production side for Q4, oddly enough, this was not the high watermark. Back in Q4 of 2022, they produced 3,493. But this was the first time Lucid ever delivered more than 3,000 vehicles in a quarter. I don't really have any major takeaways for Lucid's delivery and production chart, but in 2023, Lucid grew its deliveries by 37%, and for 2024, they grew deliveries by 70%. BMW has locked up some US supply for rare earth materials. This from Phoenix Tailing, that's setting up a plant in New Hampshire that's scheduled to start production in June of this year. But remember, Tesla's next-gen drivetrain is supposed to be rare earth element free. And here's a quick look at Ferrari's F244, their first fully electric vehicle, supposedly coming soon, which, if you ask me, looks a lot like a Hyundai. Today, VW said we're getting access to Tesla's supercharger network in March, but we won't have official adapters available until early summer around June. On Tesla's website, the only company listed under coming soon is Mercedes-Benz. So great news for VW owners, but they could not speak to timelines for Audi, Porsche, or Scout. The only EVs VW is currently offering in the US, the ID4 and the ID Buzz. Tesla stock closed the day at $411.05, up 0.15%, while the Nasdaq was up 1.24%. It was an average volume trading day. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did. You can find me on X linked below, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.